Yes, good morning, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This time, I will be talking about some of the key factors that made Manchester City win. That is the Barclays Premier League. That is for the fourth consecutive year. That is in a row since 2020 up to date. They are the English champions with no obstacle from any other team, apart from some challenges from the likes of Arsenal Football Club. That is for two consecutive seasons, as well as Liverpool Football Club. But this time, I'll be breaking down some of the factors or the reasons why Manchester City managed to become victorious over other clubs that were also chasing for the title. Remember, Pep Guardiola was given this job, that is to take charge of Manchester City Football Club. That was around the 2016-2017 season. And in his first season, he managed to finish the third. He finished third when Chelsea were named, that was the Barclays Premier League champions, under the stewardship of, that is, Antonio Conte. So this time, ever since then, has managed to win, that is 6 Premier League trophies so far in the seasons that has been there. That's around 8 seasons. But this time, I'll be breaking down why this time he managed to win, that is the championship over Arsenal Football Club. I remember at the start of the season, they had started off very well. That was during August of last year when they managed to win. That was 6 consecutive games, and everyone again just knew that they are going to take back, that is the Barclays Premier League title. However, they still went off form in some of the games when we started entering. That was the month of November, the month of December, and even January. The form that they had earlier on of winning 6 consecutive games had somehow deteriorated, and teams like Liverpool Football Club, teams like Arsenal Football Club had picked up form and momentum. I remember even Tottenham was challenging for the title until that was in October when it was beaten. That was 4-2 by Chelsea Football Club at their home stadium, which also reduced their form. But for Manchester City, they had picked up form during the start of the season. Things started going bizarre on their side when they had the loss of, that is, their superstar, that is Kevin De Bruyne, who got a long time injury. I remember still in the transfer season, they had let off superstars, the likes of Laporte and the likes of Riyad Mahrez leave off the club from the team that had won the previous championship. Plus the captain Ike Gundogan, who had also left off, that is to FC Barcelona. So many of us thought that maybe it couldn't be the same again because they had let off some good players, and they had also gotten the introduction of, that is Jeremy Doku, that is the Belgian sensation, and even superstars, the likes of Javodial, that was from RB Leipzig. So Manchester City kept on struggling from the times of, that was October, later on November, December, January, struggling, not as losing many games, however, drawing some of the games. But in some of the leagues, like the Champions League, they were still flourishing. I remember they had just been ejected out of, that was the Carabao Cup. Still, that was last year by Newcastle Football Club, convincingly, which it wasn't the norm for Pep Guardiola to be easily ejected out just at the start of the season. However, still in the previous season, which we have just concluded, we saw the rise of superstars at the likes of, that is Phil Foden, who has been so instrumental in Manchester City's revival, that is to form, and even trying to close up the gap of the absence of big man, that was Kevin De Bruyne, who was absent for the rest of the season. However, in some other games where he couldn't shine up, you could feel out that Kevin De Bruyne was being missed. That is in this game. That was so when we had a trip, that was to Newcastle Football Club, where we thought that Manchester City was their turning point to get back to rejuvenation of, that is, in the purchase for the Premier League. Kevin De Bruyne is one of the big boosts as to why Manchester City are back into contention, or went into contention, or even finally took, that was the Barclays Premier League. I remember that game when he returned up against Newcastle, that was at the St. James Park. Newcastle had an early lead. However, with his introduction, he made even an assist and even scored one of the equalizers in that game, and even giving that final goal right with dying minutes, or the assist to young boy, that was Lewis, the young Manchester City player who completed off that win. Ever since then, that was Manchester City managed to turn back into the drawing board in pursuit that was for the Barclays Premier League. However, also teams like Arsenal Football Club and teams like Liverpool Football Club, they couldn't match up the pace because you can't take up a trophy away from Manchester City Football Club if you cannot win 10 or 7 consecutive games and above. They could win some games like 4, they draw, and again back they come back at winning ways, which is one of some of the other factors that big teams in the Barclays Premier League, if you cannot win 10 games and above consecutively, there is no way you can challenge off that is Pep Guardiola's Manchester City for the title. That's why I'm saying that with the return of that is Kevin De Bruyne, we saw teams like Liverpool Football Club losing out the steam, being beaten up against that was Crystal Palace, when we saw that Liverpool maybe could even had an upper edge, losing out that was to teams like in the Merseyside derby, that was 2-0. Also, those are some of the key attributes to Liverpool's failure, as well as Arsenal on the other side being beaten home and away up against Aston Villa, loss up against West Ham, and even a loss up against smaller teams like Fulham Football Club are also some of the turnbacks, whereby Manchester City is very hard for them to lose up against average teams like those ones, despite the fact that they could also not beat out the top teams, because amongst the big 6 teams, they only managed to get a double over that was Manchester United Football Club, but the rest, they either drew or even they just got one single win away from them. So Manchester City's return of Kevin De Bruyne was one of the big boosts or the morale booster to their revival to form, and even ending up winning at the championship. So, with his return, we saw Manchester City pick up almost 8 consecutive wins, and even the crucial one up against Tottenham Hotspur. That was at the Tottenham Stadium, where we saw them getting back to the drawing board. However, loss for Arsenal up against Aston Villa was the turning point or their downfall to their pursuit to the Barclays Premier League. Let us hope that teams at the likes of Chelsea Football Club, Manchester United Football Club, Arsenal Football Club, Liverpool Football Club, if at all they are to put up a challenge that is next season, they should make sure that at least they can put up a strong run of wins if they are to challenge out for the title from that is Guardiola. If not so, he will keep dominant, that is in the Barclays Premier League, which has never happened before, of taking several trophies, the likes of like how Bayern Munich does it, that is in Germany, and even how like PSG does it, that is in France. Subscribe, like, and comment. Jackson Hamido, the Sports Encyclopedia, giving you analysis of all latest sports updates that are making headlines.